Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. We are going to be exploring the island of Tsushima here in Nagasaki Prefecture. It takes only 30 minutes by plane to reach Tsushima from Fukuoka. There are also boats like ferries and jet foils that can get you there by sea. Once here, you'll probably want to rent a car since public transportation is pretty limited and the island is much larger than you might imagine. Today I'm going to be taking you on a little adventure to see some of the great outdoor activities that this island holds. I'm going to be staying at a Buddhist temple for my overnight lodging, and we are going to be hiking, kayaking, and enjoying this special island. Now, Tsushima has a lot of history wrapped up in it, so I'll try to share some of this with you guys, but also just as a disclaimer, the activities and itinerary for this trip were planned by a local tourism company here in Tsushima called Beacon Tsushima, so if you want to learn more about that company, check it out. But let's go explore Tsushima here in Nagasaki! As I mentioned, the flight to Tsushima from Fukuoka is very short. It was just 35 minutes on this little plane. The first thing on the itinerary was to get some food, so we headed to a local restaurant. There were a lot of seafood dishes on the menu, so I chose the Aigo fry, or deep-fried mottled spinefoot fish. The fish's name doesn't sound appetizing, but it was tasty. The restaurant is also known for saba sashimi and a special kombu-wrapped steamed fish. After getting food in my belly, it was time to head for the activity of the day, kayaking on the waters of Aso Bay. Today we are going sea kayaking here in Tsushima. The wind is not too strong, so going to enjoy this beautiful winter weather. We rented kayaks, changed into waterproof clothing, learned about the route, practiced paddling, and were soon off on the water heading around the coast to see the stone walls of Kaneda Fortress and Okido Shrine. I made this trip at the end of winter in the middle of February, so it was a bit cold, but not as bad as I had expected. I absolutely did not want to flip though, so I took extra care when paddling. The water was so clear and we had a nice blue sky highlighting the mountains and rocks in front of us. Along the way, we passed Nokowaki Iwa, a sheer cliff in the middle of the water towering over 40 meters high. A little further from Nokowaki Iwa, we reached Okido Shrine. Here, we disembarked to see the shrine up close and do a quick walk in the forest. Up the mountain a short way, we came across the ruins of the ancient stone wall. The original wall was built over 1,300 years ago as part of Kaneda Castle to protect Japan from invasion. A fun fact, this area is only one of 64 government-designated special historic sites in Japan. A little more walking and we came to another section of the wall. After some hot tea and snacks, we got back into the kayaks and retraced our way to the starting point. This time there was a headwind, so my arms got a good workout. We finished the kayaking just as the sun is starting to go down. A beautiful day on the water. Got to see the shrine and some of the castle ruins here in Tsushima. My arms got a great workout, so now it's off to check into the place for tonight and get some food. For dinner, I had another wonderful seafood meal. I got to try so many types of fish, including seared noroguro, or black sea perch sashimi, cured mackerel sashimi, the fried bones of the noroguro, grilled hiramasakama, or yellowtail amberjack collar, fried anago saltwater eel, anago sashimi, and rokube soup, a local Tsushima dish with noodles made from sweet potatoes. I hadn't heard about Tsushima's seafood before visiting, but after such wonderful meals on the island, it is a highlight I want to share. After dinner, I headed to my accommodation for the night, a Buddhist temple. I wasn't expecting to find a temple stay experience in Tsushima, but I did. Seizanji is located on a hill that overlooks the waters of Izuhara Port Ferry Terminal. The temple has multiple floors of guest rooms. I stayed on the 3rd floor in a Japanese-style room with a tatami mat and futon. In the morning, I participated in a seated zazen meditation experience and took in the tranquil atmosphere of the space. After a simple breakfast provided by the temple, I headed off for another day of activity. This time, a full hike around the Kaneda Castle Fortress Ruins. I am in the forest now, off to start a hike to the Kaneda Castle Ruins. It was super windy as we hiked, and you could hear the rustle of the leaves above us sounding like waves of water. Wow, you can see the water from here. But it looks so cool, and there are waves in the water from all of the strong winds. But here we are in the mountains, climbing to the fortress ruins. During the hike, we stopped at different historical spots. This was a section of the rock wall looking out over the water. And this was a place that had remnants of the fortress's southern gate. Here, where pillars are sticking out of the ground, is said to be the ruins of buildings that once served as rest spots and watch stations for the defense soldiers. Hundreds of earthenware vessels were found in and around the outskirts of these building remnants. Past the ruins, we made it to the side of the mountain. Here, the southeast side of the wall remains, looking out over the water. It's quite rocky, but there are some of these wooden steps along the way. So that was the second stone fortress. Super windy here, but beautiful views of the water and the mountains around this castle. What's nice about this hike is that it's not just one trail in the forest. There are lots of historic spots along the way with multilingual explanations, so you can see a lot while you hike here too. It is pretty steep here, so have to watch our step as we go down the stairs. We have some uphills now, but again, the water is to our right, and this is the water that we kayaked in yesterday. So we're getting a great mix of water and land. First kayaking to see these ruins from the bottom, and now we're actually walking by them. So pretty cool double adventure. Such a beautiful route here under all of these trees. So we have come down the Bingushi mountain, and we are at the area that we were at yesterday when we came from the kayaks. So this is called Mino Kido, and it is one of the castle gates located on the east of the Kaneda Castle. We are now continuing the climb to the summit. Through some of the trees, the large Nokowaki Iwa rock was visible. This is the same rock that we kayaked by yesterday. almost near the top. Just climbing these large steps. This is the most uphill part of the hike. Just straight stairs. We finished the last of the big stairs and are almost there. Woo. This viewpoint was a bit obstructed by trees, but you could still see the Korean peninsula in the wee distance. There were also remnants of an observatory and underground rooms. And now just a little bit more walking until the top. Woo! We finally made it to the top. From the summit, there was a spectacular view. The water was so blue and there were lots of little islands in the bay. We could also see Mount Shiratake, Tsushima's sacred mountain, in the distance. We made it to the top! Such a wonderful, wonderful view here. You can see the water, the islands, and it's just magnificent blue all around. Well, that view was absolutely stunning. Worth the climb to get here. It was steep at the end and a bit windy, but wow, that is such a nice view. Reminds me of the islands when I was at the observatory in another part of Nagasaki, but super, super cool. Now we are going to be climbing down the mountain, this time taking an easier route, and then we'll be continuing to explore more of Tsushima. The way down was much easier as we took the less steep and much wider military road that was built by the army during the Meiji period. There were a few more points of interest on the way down, including the remains of an artillery battery facility, a stone munitions storehouse, and remains of a gun emplacement. After the hike, we stopped by the Tourist Information Center, which had a neat diorama of the fortress. It was really cool to see a 3D view of the entire hike we had just finished. This is where we stopped for a little viewpoint, and this is the summit. Afterward, we headed to the western shore of the island to see the Komodahama Shrine and beach. This area was attacked by a Mongolian army in 1274. The Tsushima troops were led by a man named Sukekuni Sol. They were completely outnumbered and annihilated by the attacking army, so this shrine is dedicated to So and his men. And that about wraps up my trip to Tsushima. It was a quick overnight trip, but super packed with lots of outdoor adventure and learning. I got to eat a lot of great seafood, kayak in the waters, and hike to a beautiful viewpoint. So my first trip in Tsushima was a memorable one. But thank you for coming with me on this adventure to another one of Japan's lesser traveled spots. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.